Water's low, huh?
What can we learn from my forefathers' memory? Tell me what kind of lesson they take to the grave. Turnstile and exile, the land and our labor.
How close we could get to them. I ain't seen many frogs. I guess they went to sleep, huh?
And they sold you home freedom, but they treat you like slaves.
Check him out. The Nutri-Rat. Well, I got him a stick, man. In the last years, it's been about the same. I mean, crawfishing hadn't been the best, but as far as just recreational fishing, it's been pretty good. And duck hunting and deer hunting, been okay. First fish with my dad and them back when I was a little kid. I'd say that's been probably some of the best and some of the best duck hunting for sure. Those big old greenheads in the swamp, you can't beat that. And just being out here, it's like church to me.
Grandfather chopped down the world's tallest cypress. But they could not get by on a moss picker's wage. What can we learn from my forefathers' misery? Lord, I pray we ain't destined to make that mistake.
These people came down to South Louisiana, all over the South after the Civil War, and began exploiting what was here for their own financial gain. The big trees especially. The longleaf pine all over Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi and parts of Louisiana, and the ball cypress in Florida and Georgia and North and South Carolina and Louisiana, until they had cut down every single virgin tree growing in this area. It's not like the redwoods and the sequoias in California and some of the giant cedar, western cedar. Some of those trees were saved and not cut down. In the Atchafalaya Basin, every cypress tree that was big enough to make lumber of any kind, even boards 4 or 5 inches wide, every tree was cut down and used for lumber and sold as lumber. So for me, that's just too much. It's too greedy. It's too corrupt.
You know, it's just what it is this whole basin has been basically treated as a wasteland, and nobody appreciated it for what it was, except for the people that used it and lived in it, the fishermen.
That's not too good. I ran them yesterday, but that water's too hot now. We're not catching much fish right now.
My name is Dean Wilson. I was a commercial fisherman for 16 years. I made my living hunting and fishing the swamps in the Atchafalaya Basin. And in the year 2000, they started logging the cypress swamps of coastal Louisiana for cypress mulch, and that's when I stopped being a fisherman and become an environmentalist.
He's doing a tremendous job in the basin, educating the people, actually showing the problems. And he takes a lot of photographs And that's what it's all about. Educate the people of the problems of the basin and you're gonna get their support. They care about the basin. I mean, and look, I'm not just talking about Louisiana people. All of the entire United States cares about the Atchafalaya Basin.
We try to stop the logging in there, go after them, you know, they're gonna say like, we're going after education, we're going after the school kids, and we don't care about teachers, and you give us a black eye.
According to this letter here, this is the law. You're breaking the law. He said, it's a done deal, we finished with it, we're not changing. I said, well, I don't know if it's a done deal, but if you're breaking the law, there's no such a thing as a done deal.
We found out, I don't remember when we first heard about it, that the St. Martin Parish School Board had signed a contract with a lumber company to cut 640 acres of wetlands, mostly wetlands, in the Atchafalaya Basin, including about 450 acres of CYPRESS-TUPELO, mostly cypress swamp. So we decided to challenge that decision by speaking to the public through the school board meetings and letting the public know how Atchafalaya Basinkeeper felt and how I felt. My part, when I was asked who I represented in asking to speak there, I said, well, I represent the Atchafalaya Basinkeeper because I'm a board member, but I also represent the school children sitting in classrooms in St. Martin Parish in an unofficial sense, because those kids don't know what's happening to the environment that's part of their natural heritage.
The people that actually took French out of the schools are actually putting it back. So, you know, to me, they admitting they did it wrong. It was wrong to do. And heritage, like fishing, once it's going to be gone, they're going to regret it and they're going to try to bring it back. Well, why let it go? Do something now to preserve it.
And I also represent myself, because it offends me when people think they can just go in there and then do it. They not only think it, they do it, and clear and cut out a growth of cypress trees that I would love to see go on, and a lot of people would love to see go on and grow for hundreds and hundreds of years. Because once we did that already, we made that huge mistake.
I can go in the basin every day and it's a new adventure. You know, you don't know what you're going to see in the basin, but you're going to see something different, and you can do so many things in the basin. You know, you can hunt, you can fish, you can name it, and you just about can do it.
The old folks would roll in their graves. Lord, I thought I saw light in the dark of the night. Can't this be paradise? Say,
And then we managed to get Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart to stop selling cypress mulch from coastal Louisiana. We got most of the environmental groups in Louisiana together fighting for cypress in a group called Save Our Cypress. Say, you know, the kids that live around the basin, that's absolutely the most important resource for the future that they have. Bird watchers alone spend $35 billion a year. The economic impact is, I think, is $84 billion per year. I mean, you put all the trees together, in the entire coastal Louisiana, and you cut them down, the value of that is a one-time deal of 3.3 billion. You can get that much or more every single year if you preserve the forest just for bird watching.
Good hunt, good fish, almost anything.
That's fresh. There you go.
Number one, there are a lot of people that are opposed to the idea of the school board doing this, mainly because they don't feel that these cypress trees should be cut in the first place. It's not like some big boom for the school board or the parish. Not to mention, if it's a full square mile of land, you're talking 640 acres of cypress timber. I don't think, I mean, if it's covered with cypress, you're talking a hell of a lot more worth than $88,000 in lumber. There should be a whole lot of money there.
Brings me to the third thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that's the school board / tree issue. Kind of long story short, I don't want to say a whole bunch about it, and then I'm going to just tell you how it happened. My son and I were fishing in Hawaii, of all places. I just talked about Hawaii, and my 22-year-old and I were fishing up there, and he started talking about, he said, what are y'all going to actually do? And so I started showing him that some of the small banks we're going to remove, and he's familiar with the mitigation process because he works for DNR in a part-time capacity. And he said, well, Dad, y'all going to be destroying all these wetlands. He said, I paid attention to the newspaper a couple weeks ago and I saw that the school board is fixing to destroy a bunch of trees to the tune of, a section 16 piece. Is there any way you could pay them, instead of cutting the trees, pay the school board for the rights on the trees, keep them alive, and use that as a mitigation bank? And it kind of like a little light bulb went off in my head. And I guess where we are right now is in the process of contacting Good Hope Timber Company. It seems as though there's some willingness to try to get out of this contract. If everybody agrees, from what I'm understanding, they are willing to work with us. And it looks as though possibly the only cost that the school board would get would be, I think they paid a few dollars for a forester to go in and identify the trees on the place. They had to do that before they signed a contract. So I'm willing to pay the school board back for that because I'm going to need that to be able to issue to the court to find out exactly what we have there.
Did they mention that letter that we sent them that we were going to sue their ass if they cut one tree down?
That's why they changed their mind.
They didn't talk about that?
I didn't know. I didn't even ask about it. They didn't talk about it. But it looks as though they had a willingness to work. At any rate, mitigation costs anywhere from between $35,000 and $50,000 an acre. So we figured at $40,000 an acre, if we were to go into Bow Bayou Swamp and start, messing up some wetlands because we're trying to improve our water quality, and we would probably save the taxpayers on 350 acres of trees. We didn't even take into account the whole 640 acres of what a section includes, the 640 acres of square. That's not even counting that. We're thinking we can save the Louisiana taxpayer $2.7 million